Okay, so dear Dhamma practitioners, be comfortable yourself and relax your body. Keep your back straight, neck head straight in one line, and your right palm on your left. So gently close your eyes and bring your attention to this bell sound. And while you're focusing to the sound, mentally relax your body, relax your mind, and relax your breathing with your thoughts. So do nothing extra. Just follow the sound, please. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, the Exalted One, the fully Enlightened One. So dear Dhamma practitioners, before we start our practice session, as usual, we'll take a few minutes to understand how this practice can bring us the ability for ourselves to develop our spiritual practice. Because when it comes to practice, it is very important to know yourself, what you know, and what you know and how much you know about it. And when you know that what you know and how much you know about it, bring the ability to have a question yourself, to know and ask yourself regarding your own practice. What your practice, you have ability to question regarding your own wisdom. So that's bring the clarity. So if you can't have the question yourself regarding what you know, and that's mean you don't know enough about it. So that's why when it comes to meditation, you have to be very clear with your own knowledge. Because once you start to practice, that knowledge is going to become the foundation. And as you know, when it comes to this spiritual practice, there are some people do this spiritual journey as they are part of their spiritual practice. They go from one place to another place. From the ancient time, people used to do this. So as example, most of the Buddhist people from around the world, they go to Bodh Gaya or India to see different places wherever the Buddha used to be. And other religions. And some people go to Jerusalem. And some people go to Mecca, Middle East. And every year, when according to the season, sometimes people go. And this is a very old tradition. And even that from the Greek to the Babylonian, so in that kind of time also, people did this spiritual journey. Even sometimes country to country, culture to culture different. In Sri Lanka, there are a lot of journey like that every year. And according to the full moon and the seasons, people always go from one place to another place. It's a kind of like around the 12 years, the whole country, people moving around the country. But the thing is, realization doesn't come out of that the spiritual journeys. It brings kind of like a comfort, and it can bring kind of like a satisfaction to ourselves. But just imagine during the Corona time, then the people could, didn't travel to any place. So then what happened? If your life depend on the spiritual journey, if your purification depend on the spiritual journey that you make from this point to that point, in like this situation, how that the purification going to come to people? But the meditation is from the ancient time to today, it is a totally different way. And you have to remember, this practice meditation, thousand years old, and if there is some benefit, people are not going to keep doing this. Because people are having the benefit. That's why people keep practice it. And from that day, that ancient time to today, through all the enlightened masters, and practicing this, and always that gaining the first priority to our mental practice happened because all the time they knew there is something. Otherwise, it is just not an idea. So then yourself, it is better, you have to think a little bit and see. When you come to practice, to know how to do this more better way. Because regarding the self, that our main purpose is, as you know, the self-realization, understanding ourselves. Why we have to come to this self-realization? Because from the ancient time to today, and some part of our mind didn't understand this. And we understood certain things in wrong way. So if I put it to the kind of like a very philosophical explanation from the ancient time, how it explained. So finding yourself is like this. It's a very difficult to find a black cat inside a very dark room. It's very difficult to find. And even it is very difficult to find in a very dark room when there is no black cat. So that's how those certain philosophers explain about the how these people trying to find the self, because you will never find it. Why? Because there is no such a thing like that, like I am. But something we experience. And that what we experience And another way it called, in a spiritual, it called it is an illusion. So, and what is the difference? Why we can't get into this reality? Why that we miss the reality, even though we have eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, we have the perception, and we go through this the perceptual knowledge. Why we can't get into the reality? Even there is a world. So why we can't touch that world? Because we busy and we more interfering with the world that we create by ourselves. Because of that, we can't understand the real world. So, if you're capable to get out of the world that you create inside you, then you're able to understand what is real world. How then we can get out of the world that we create inside us? It's not easy. It's because we live with that. Because we already understood that the world we create as the real world, even though it is not real. So even we going to die, we hold it to that the world we create inside us. And sometimes as wisdom also, as liberation also, we take something created by our own mind. So see how complicated this. But still there is a way you can get out of it. So when it comes to that, you have to remember that inside created world depend on needs. That needs come out of the desires, which we can't deny. So then we have to take a very radical, mindful turn. So the very first thing is, if you can practice yourself, we have to go step by step. So if we break down it a little bit more, in day-to-day life, in this why we created this world inside us, because we need love, we need happiness, we need protection, we need money, we need recognition. So they are kind of like that, we can give a list till end of our life. That much things we need. So nothing wrong with that. We all think it as life. So then where we need to start. So start to gain. Don't change your happiness. Don't change your desire. Don't change the need for money. Don't change that need for love. Don't change need for your satisfaction. Don't change need for your security. Don't change need for your validation or recognition. So when we say like that, sometimes we feel a little bit relaxed. Oh, then it's good. Then there is something, let's do it. Because we can have that all. So this is the key point. You can try it. Get it. Get it in the right way. That's the beginning point. So don't tell anyone to change. Get all the happiness and satisfaction the right way. The principle is this. When we have the desire, we can get anything. So in the beginning, what we need to do, that what we gain, start to gain in a right way, rather than without getting it or escaping from it. Because sometimes we can't. So then, in the very first level, you gain that things in a right way. It's kind of like you giving a little shift to your desire. Rather than gaining anything wrong way, get things in the right way. So when you start to tune to that level, what happens in you, that whatever you gain, bringing kind of like a satisfaction and the comfort and the security, and at the same time, it brings a kind of like an environment for you to be open. That's very important. Because that environment we can't find. And once you have that open environment, there is another shift going to happen. So now you see that we have the inside world. We created desires, and then in that desires, we look for the happiness and satisfaction. And now we come to a point, okay, we're going to get it, but we're going to get it in the right way. It's very fair. No one can say, no, I don't want that way. Everybody have to accept it. Because whatever you want, you're going to get it in the right way. So when it comes to the Buddha's teaching, that Eightfold Path, that is what the Buddha taught. Buddha never told, don't get this, don't get, no, get it in the right way. So you develop a very balanced mental, physical structure, discipline in you for your own good, for your own benefit. And once you start to go into that level, the wisdom you gain, even though we have ability through the desires to gain anything, that we don't have strength or ability to change the desire. The desire means that not what we want, the current, the desire itself, we can't change. We can get anything out of the desire, but the desire going to be always in us. So once you recognize that, you come to a very important point. So in the beginning, we had the desire to gain things. Now you know, when your mind becomes more clear, now you know, oh, even though I gain, this gaining, even if we get it in the right way, this desire always keep going to be there. The desire going to hold us. We have no power to change the desire. So then what will happen? How are you going to handle that? Because that the desire always there. And that is where you're going to recognize why this desire keep coming. From where? Because you can't change the desire, you can't hold the desire. It always into something. That's where you recognize from where this comes. So if you don't see the desire, just imagine how you're going to receive it, from where it comes. So that is where you recognize the mental formations, anchors, the sanskara. That's where your history. And the history, and at the same time, the memory, and the same time you recognize there is a pattern that we already develop in us. And once you see that, this is not an outside reason, but look at why this recognition is very important. Because nowadays, what happens? With this advertisement, with this information technology, what the world does, and world teach us, and through advertisement, through information, they tells us, without that we can't live. It's kind of like, oh, to be happy, you have to buy this. Oh, to be happy, you have to get this. So always they say, oh, to be happy, to be satisfied, you have to buy this, you have to buy that. And somewhere in the history, we into that, and because of that, what happened, we accelerate, we ignite that inner strength to have this desire, and now it has kind of like a current. Once you have it, once you know this, you recognize it is not this outside advertisement. And then whatever you believe, whatever you see on TV or computer or whatever the advertisement gained through billboard or anyway, you recognize, no, that is not. It is lying. It is my own reactions bring this desire. So still you're not going to change the desire, or you're not going to stop the desire. Only thing, you see the reasons with the desire. So once you see the reason from where this comes, you recognize. Otherwise, you always into the world. That's why, children watch the TV, and when they see an advertisement, and the very next day they, oh, I want to buy that. Why? Because they teach you, oh, to be happy, you have to buy this. And the elders the same. And maybe they saw beautiful landscape and the vacation place, and they say, oh, to be happy yourself with your family, you have to go there. Otherwise, your life is nothing. So then you think, oh, we have to go there. See, that that is where we are today. But once you recognize this, oh, this is our inside, our own reaction, ignite this inner current, what happens? It's kind of like a very strong gunpowder in a bullet, and the ready to fire like a gun you have. So having the gun is nothing wrong with that. If you are a very skillful person to use it, just imagine otherwise. So you have a gun and you can't shoot it to the target, and it always misfiring. What will happen? It can kill you, and it can kill somebody maybe you love, and maybe around that there are children and some innocent people. Even in sometimes soldiers, where they have the gun and sometimes misfire, and they say it doesn't matter how trained they are, misfiring can kill you. So having a gun is, it's nothing wrong, because everywhere people somehow, even we say it is wrong, people going to keep it. But the thing is, you have to be very careful not to misfire. And Can you shoot it to the target? That is a skill. No? So your emotions the same. That most of our emotions misfiring and go here and there, and it kill us, and it bring the damages to us, and for not, and sometimes our own emotions damage other people around us when it go misfiring, because we don't know how to handle it. So this is a very basic knowledge we need for our day-to-day life. Forget about spiritual practice. At least to have a very comfortable, very, safe, full, conventional life. So that knowing from the desires arising, giving you power to handle, it's like you know how to handle the gun and you know how to shoot it to the target. That is the skill you gain observing and recognizing and analyzing your emotions. So the desires. And once you have that, you bring the desire slowly and you change the angle of the desire. And once you change the angle of the desire, you can use it as a very beneficial energy. So rather than, oh, desire, oh, bad, not good, you bring the desire to the right path. So how you can do it? So in the very first level, remember, you have to know and you have to see it and you have to know from where it comes. And then now you come to the meditation, you have the desire to watch TV and you have to spend so much money for that. You have to buy a good TV, no? And you have to buy cable, you have to buy internet, or, so, and then not only that, you have to buy a good sofa set or the couch for that, and then not only that, sometimes maybe you can't watch, a movie yourself, and then you have to buy a partner to watch movie, So then what will happen to you? See that your desire is misfiring, and then later, before end the movie, your life become a, big drama. So they're the same desire. What happened in the beginning, you find it, you use it to the right way. And then you analyze yourself how to do things. And it gives a power to yourself to understand how this happens. And then the same desire you can apply without harming or without having trouble. You enjoy your life. But at the same time, then once a while, every day, few minutes, you sit for meditation. You read a book, you listen to something, you do some activities yourself physically, you interfering and engage with something to do something good for other people. So that way, the same desire, you divert it to certain directions. So it brings ability, little by little, to shift the desire from misfiring, and now you recognizing the target, and you more handling it, and now you getting the more and understanding, and at the same time you accumulating a lot of profitable skills out of using that. So by the time, what will happen? By the time you gain the ability to settle down. So settling down means what? This inside the world that we have, the experience, we slowly shut down. And once we get out of that inside world we created, naturally, your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind start to experience the real world. And another way called the direct perception. So once you have it, what will happen? When the direct perception happens, you're not going to depend on the memory. You're not going to depend on the past. In the very moment that your experience happens, it becomes complete. That completion completely shut down the inner desire. Why? Remember, the inner desire comes as a result of habitual patterns or the repetition. So now you have the direct perception, and the direct perception give the solution to desires. Because in the moment you are 100% complete. That completion anymore not depend from something and not depending from wanting. So I want. So like that. When you come to that point, the needs going to disappear, and more than that, this inner current happening going to slowly release. That releasing itself, physically giving you so much benefits, and the mentally, as in this very conventional life, giving us so much benefits, and in the spiritual life, that become the very foundation for you to go deeper to understand the reality. So then at least every day remember, while we practice like this, it's a very necessary for you, for your mind, because it give a break to your mind. It give a break to your life. Because otherwise we always in a story. We kind of like our whole mind, so every day that this keep storytelling to ourselves. We are storytellers. We keep telling stories to ourselves, and then at the same time we keep telling the stories to others. And always into something, busy. And so this practice giving you a break. And that break, in a very short, for a short period, you may experience something good. But by the time, remember, maybe when a day comes for us to maybe that you just alone yourself, you go somewhere and maybe we go somewhere and maybe anymore no at these sessions anymore. So then you remember yourself to have your personal attitude to yourself to get a break. Turn off the cell phone, turn off the computer, turn off things, just let things to settle down yourself. And keep a habit as a habit for you. Teach for your children that, because nowadays for them, and sometimes without, holding the cell phone, children can't sleep sometimes. And without watching TV, even the elders can't sleep. We always into this illumination, no? But your mind has a more different way to find the peace, harmony, tranquility state within itself. So this practice take you to that level in very conventional way, and at the same time there is a deeper spiritual benefit come to you. So, but it's very important, more than what you know, it's very important how much you bring it to practice, how much you do yourself. So then at least 5 minutes, 10 minutes, start to get into practice. Start it with yourself. Dharma is not what you hear. Dharma is what you hold it to. So these all the things that we talk here. So not everything, but if there is something makes sense for you, remember, take it as your dharma. Otherwise, we will go session by session, session by session. By the time we will separate, we go to our own different way of life. But once you get it something as dharma, hold it to something, anchoring to something, it's going to be with you like your shadow never leave your body. So with that, let's get into the practice a little bit. So your right palm on your left and neck head straight in one line and be comfortable with your posture. So bring your attention to your body and scan head to toes 3 times yourself and say Sopatveva, or may I be well and happy. Take a moment and think. We gathered here in this moment to practice this ancient meditation technique. All the Buddhas, all the enlightened masters followed this path and achieved wisdom. So we also gathered here to accumulate that knowledge. In this moment, in this sitting, may my body become more comfortable. May my breath be more smooth. May no difficulties come to me. May all the success come to me. Also think for a moment. This is the last moment we're spending in this very lifetime. And detach your mind from all your past memories and as well as any kind of future thoughts. Just try to remain in the present moment, observing the sensation of your inhalations and exhalations. So deeply and gently, breathe in, breathe out 3 times, please, and find the sensation. And allow your inhalations, exhalations happen itself. Do nothing extra. Bring your attention to your body, please. Observe your posture. We cultivate loving kindness and compassion in our heart and radiate it as a light through entire your compound, village, city, state, country, world, around this universe. Also as far as you can through galaxies, other planets, stars. Reminding yourself like this. With clear intention, mentally repeat after me. May all living beings in this universe be well and happy. May everyone be happy and safe, and may their hearts be filled with joy. May all living beings live in security and in peace. Beings who are frail or strong, tall or short, big or small, visible or not visible, near or far away, already born or yet to be born. May all of them dwell in perfect tranquility. Let no one do harm to anyone. Let no one put the life of anyone in danger. Let no one out of anger or ill will wish anyone any harm. Expand the loving kindness and compassion beginning from your heart. Forward, visualize yourself and send it as a light. To your backside, to your left side, and to your right side. Downward, and upward. To all six directions at once, like the moon, the sun, spread the light, spread the energy, without any condition, without any limitation, without any resistance or without any judgment. Let your heart to shine with the loving kindness and compassion from the bottom of it, with the maximum effort to the highest. Wishing yourself, may all living beings in this universe be well and happy. Say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So first of all, we offer this practice to the great qualities of the Buddha, Dhamma and the Sangha. And also by the power of this meritorious deed, may all of us attain to the supreme bliss of Nibbana. May all your guardian angels and deities will receive these merits and increase their longevity and protect all of you from any kind of planetary influences or any ill effects. Ittavata chami sampadam punya sampadam sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya Imaya dhammanu dhamma patipattiya buddham pujemi dhammam pujemi sangham pujemi attaya imaya patipattiya jati jara vyadi maranam ha paribundissami idam me punya kammang asavakkaya vahang hotu sabba dukkha pamuncatu. Bless you.